Dr. James Tracy is with us. He is a professor of media history and analysis, political economy of communication. His website is memoryholeblog, H-O-L-E, memoryholeblog.com. And a professor at the school that one of our associate producers, Danielle, is a graduate of. She mentioned Florida Atlantic University. Professor Davis, or Edwards, rather. Tracy, welcome to the program.
Hi, Tom. It's very good to be with you.
Thank you for joining us. I shouldn't try to read and talk at the same time. I'm sorry, my tongue and brain get totally confused. I understand that and I've seen several different media accounts of this, and some of them conflict, and that's why I wanted to get it right from you. That you have suggested that at Sandy Hook in Newtown, this horrible school shooting, that there were multiple shooters. Let me just run through my list here, and then you can tell me where I'm right and where I'm wrong, and you know what your take is on this. A, that there were multiple shooters. B, that the government spirited a couple of them away. C, that somehow the Obama administration did this. It was a false flag operation in order, presumably, to provoke a gun control response. And D, that this is one of many like this, that the same thing happened in the shooting in Aurora, Colorado, that the same thing happened with the JFK assassination, that the same thing happened with 9/11. The list goes on and on and on. And finally, D or E, wherever I am, that this is what you teach at the college. What of that is accurate?
Well, I don't know where actually to begin, but I guess I could begin with the simple things first. That is one of the things that I teach at the college. I teach classes on journalism and media history and analysis and criticism and so forth. And we look at current events and historical events and the extent to which things might have been missed. One of the things I incorporate, for example, in my classes is Project Censored. I'm an affiliate. This past year, the Censored Yearbook, 3 of my students did stories that appeared in the top 25. The Culture of Conspiracy class that is on quote-unquote conspiracy theories, it's a little bit more detailed than that, is really a matter of looking at historical events in greater detail and attempting to come to terms with those and trying to find out what perhaps historians and the media.
So, for example, most Americans think that this one guy shot Abraham Lincoln and that was the end of that, but there was actually a real conspiracy. The conspirators were actually found and hanged, and somehow we don't talk about that. We don't much know about that.
Exactly.
So
I know that you're.
What's the deal with Sandy Hook?
Well, there is a good deal of conflicting news coverage, and I didn't begin looking at this until almost a week after it actually took place. And when I began to look at news footage and read articles and so forth, there was just a lot of material that didn't really fit. The storyline was changing constantly as a result of pronouncements from authorities and things of the like. So,
but why would you not expect that to happen? I mean, this was a wild, violent, internationally being viewed situation where you've got a whole bunch of media people who are all. I mean, there's millions and millions, hundreds probably of millions of dollars was made in terms of the media coverage of Sandy Hook, and so everybody wanted to get the first story first, and you would expect a lot of people to get it wrong.
Oh, that's absolutely true. That's one of the reasons that I created a timeline in an effort to really trace the narrative from prior to the event right through up until just the past week or so.
Right.
And there's still a lot of information that is somewhat conflicting, and some things, Tom, that actually just went down the memory hole, so to speak, in terms of footage of aerial footage taken by the Associated Press of additional shooter suspects. We don't know for certain whether or not they were involved in the event, but here you have one of the worst school shootings in modern history, one of the worst mass shootings, and these individuals are ferreted away and we don't hear from them again.
Well, my understanding is they were teachers fleeing the scene.
Well, I'm not sure if that's the case. Now, I believe that there's one individual who may have been a parent who was prone down in the parking lot. But then there are two other individuals that are up in the woods. At least one individual who was taken away in a police car. He has military. He has camo pants on and a black top. So it would. I think that in order to put things at ease, the law enforcement authorities would come out and say that this individual, or was involved, or rather, excuse me, was at the scene, was in no way involved, and put it to rest.
So do you actually think that Sandy Hook was part of it was not just a single deranged kid with his mom's guns, that it was part of something larger, and that it was actually promoted by, or at the very least covered up by, the Obama administration? Or are you putting that forward as a hypothesis for your class as a okay, let's take this, what's the Latin phrase, ad surdium ad reductio? Let's reduce this to or push this to the farthest absurd extreme, and see if it holds up.
Right. Well, it's nothing that I've examined in the class. This is something that my blog is. It does inform my academic work, but at the same time, it's something that I do as something of a journalistic endeavor.
So, do you think that the Obama administration killed those kids?
I think that there's too little information that's actually known at this point to draw any specific conclusions. And my primary reasons for writing the pieces were to ask questions. What's going on here, and what are we missing, and why are the media presenting a particular, almost kind of choreographed storyline, and there are a lot of things that are simply not addressed.
But as a professor of journalism, you know that asking questions implicitly makes statements. I mean, and it doesn't even need to be, the old Richard Nixon, "Are you still beating your wife?" kind of question. It can be, how, so. I mean, just even raising the question, even saying, well, there's no evidence that the Obama administration wasn't behind this, or maybe there is evidence that they were. I mean, that seems to me like dancing on the wildest edge of this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, again, I think that is one of the ways in which, the major way in which the media has attempted to construe this. Call me a conspiracy theorist, a nutty professor who's got silly questions, and we shouldn't, really pay any attention to him. And he is being, being cruel to the survivors, of the victims and what have you.
But you see this not only at Sandy Hook. I mean, you see this at Columbine. You see this at most of the major tragedies in the United States. From reading your blog.
I've not looked at Columbine, but certainly 9/11 and Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, thank you.
And the John Kennedy, the assassination of JFK and RFK, the fairly well-known political assassinations of the 1960s, the two most prominent, and the Kennedys. I certainly think there are a lot of unanswered questions there. In some cases, the evidence is overwhelming that there was a conspiracy to eliminate those individuals.
Well, Congress concluded there was a conspiracy to kill Jack Kennedy. The question is, who was involved in that conspiracy. But to Sandy Hook, what's it going to take to satisfy you? We just have about a half a minute left here. I'm sorry.
To satisfy me, well, again, I'm simply raising questions, and I believe that the media failed us at Sandy Hook, and this needs to be revisited.
You're coming in by Skype, and it's breaking up as soon as we start to drop the music on top of it. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to wrap it up. Dr. James Tracy. You can read all about it over at memoryholeblog.com. Thank you, Professor, for being with us today.
Hey, thanks, Tom.